Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
When I left Texas for California, I said goodbye to a lot of people, many of whom confided in me, "You are so brave. I could not do what you're doing." At the time, I thought it was because I was driving through the desert in a 15-year-old car. After not too many days, I realized it was because I was taking along my cat. When I began the trip, I thought it would be 6 weeks max. It turned out to be 6,000 miles, 93 days, changing motels roughly every 3 days. The cat deserves a medal. I learned some important tips I'm going to share with you. Tip number 1, early in the trip, come to an agreement. For most of the first month, we traveled through New Mexico, which is some lovely scenery. Unfortunately, Abigail, like most cats, enjoys viewing the scenery out of a picture window, stationary, rather than a moving vehicle. On the first day of the trip, she yelled at me for several hours. This increased day by day until on the 4th day, she yelled at me for 6 hours, virtually every minute we were in the car. I knew she liked me, but I could tell by the vehement hissing and yowling that she wasn't too fond of my parents. Specifically, she wondered what kind of room my mother rode and was I now following in her footsteps. On the 5th day, as soon as the fuss began, I introduced some people into our already cramped quarters. AC/DC, Quiet Riot, and Queen. There you go. The louder she yelled, the higher the volume on the radio. That day we came to an understanding. We could both enjoy the peace and quiet, unless she insisted on casting aspersions on my parents for more than 10 minutes at a time, in which case I was entitled to continue to raise the volume until she stopped. Tip number 2, compromise. Remember, it is never the kitty's idea to go on a long ride ever. And it's highly unlikely that when you had an opening for animal companion that you discussed this during the interview. Therefore, in the morning, he or she is going to be looking for a place to hide. Compromise. 20 minutes of hide and seek on checkout morning will be acceptable. However, more than 20 minutes, sanctions. Will be followed by plugging up of all possible hiding places in the next motel room, or placing the kitty in the carrier earlier and earlier on checkout morning. If by chance you happen to have the fortunate luck to be in a motel room in Utah with 2 rollaway king-size beds, know the manager will completely understand when you call and tell him you're not going to be out on time because the kitty hasn't exhausted herself running from one bed to the other as you hurl them about the room trying to bamboozle her into the carrier. Tip number 3, enjoy the moment. On one leg of the trip, we needed to travel from Yuma, Arizona to San Diego, California. Through the desert, in the summer, in a dark red, fully loaded 15-year-old car, uphill, on a highway that was the original model for roller coasters, something the AAA book forgot to mention. As we came to the first incline, the road signs warned, "Turn off your air conditioning." Yeah, I'm in the middle of the desert. I'm going to turn off the air conditioning. Climbed a little higher. Water stations available every half mile, next 25 miles.
Oh my.
Wow. My stomach's thinking this is not a good idea. A bit further along, fill radiators. I go back to Yuma, but there are no exits on this mountain range. The car is struggling to go uphill, starting to go uphill 30 miles an hour. The cat is quite unhappy with the noise and venting her displeasure on getting stressed. The next sign blares, "This is not a test, turn off your air conditioner." Okay, I can dig in. I turned it off. I lowered the windows. Cats don't like air blowing on them. She raises the volume. I'm too scared to turn the radio on. I'm listening to the engine. We're creeping up the mountain. The sun is glaring in my eyes. The engine is straining. My sweet little cat is screaming and yowling and hissing and wailing at the top of her lungs. The miserably hot wind is dragging on the car and roaring through the windows, carrying the cat screams right into my ear. My jaw is so tense, 2 Olympic gold medal weightlifters couldn't open it with incredible. I know the car's going to break down. I'm going to die in this desert with a cat screaming bad things about my parents directly into my brain. What can I do? Fortunately, I have watched enough sitcoms to know the answer. I started screaming too. Ah, she's screaming, I'm screaming, the wind's slapping at us with hot hands, my throat's parched, my tongue is a big wad of cotton. Up and down the highway we go until it is now safe to turn on your air conditioner. Raise the windows, turned on the AC. San Diego was almost in sight. In conclusion, remember when traveling with a kitty, come to a mutually acceptable agreement, remember to compromise, and 3, when the unexpected happens, do whatever you have to enjoy the event.
Very good.